This video is presented by the EA Sports Creator Network. What's good, football gamers? It's your boy Fan checking in with one of our first college football 26 videos of the year. Big thanks to EA for the early access opportunity. One of my favorite sandboxes that college football 25 gave us for the first time was the ability to upgrade our coach through the coaching skill tree. In this year's installment, the tree has been rebalanced and retuned with some key differences in spots that you might not notice. In this video, we're going to go over the differences year over year and where you can find the specific changes. Keep in mind that we're also getting scaling archetype costs this year, which basically means that it'll cost you more to separate from your specialty than it will to continue down your archetype's path. So planning will be crucial, but I won't go over too much of the archetype costs themselves because that will depend on which branch you choose to start. But no matter which you choose, the skills we have to pick from will be the same. Also keep in mind that I'm going over the changes here, as a full video detailing the whole skill tree would be much longer, so you're gonna have to stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's hop into the coaching skill tree upgrades in college football 26. We'll start off by taking a look at one of my favorite branches coming out of last year, recruiter. In my opinion, last year's version was a little too much of a powerhouse, so the rebalancing we'll see in 26 definitely struck here, and you'll notice some bigger trade-offs and different capabilities. Every position is the same track, so we can look at any one of them to get the idea. From last year, while Tier 1 stayed the same, Tier 2 is moving from a recruiting action boost to a better starting interest in 26. At Tier 3, a weekly increase in recruiting hours for the position group changed to Portal King, which helps transfer players' interest of that same group. And at Tier 4, we're getting Persuasive Personality, which adds a chance to sway the group. Last year, we had the current Tier 2 ability here, so the update certainly isn't a nerf top to bottom, but I think it will encourage you to look elsewhere to balance out what we've lost and how OP this branch alone was. In the Elite Recruiter branch, we also saw some big changes over last year. Ideal Situation moves from Tier 4 to Tier 1, Tier 2 stays the same. At Tier 3, instead of getting a pipeline bonus, now we'll get bigger impacts for recruiting actions for this group of players. In my opinion, in the grand rebalancing of the recruiter branch, this is actually a buff. And at Tier 4, we used to get a boost to ideal pitch grades, and now we could get more weekly recruiting hours if we opt for the big Tier 4 progression. Moving clockwise around the tree, in Talent Developer, I can spare you the arrows and the chimes because there's really only one true returner, and QB Whisperer has moved up in tier, so really everything here is different. Remember, we're just using quarterback as the example since branches of this type will have the same bonuses for each position. Now, at Tier 1, we get bonus XP when we have players drafted. At Tier 2, Quarterback Whisperer returns, but it's specified to freshmen and sophomores rather than just lower rated players. At Tier 3, we have Star Maker helping our starter gain experience faster, and at Tier 4, we're getting Home Sweet Home, a boost to pipeline bonuses for the position group you've chosen. Hiding such a great recruiting tool that deep into tiers of Talent Developer this year will encourage some big decisions on which direction you want to take your coach. In the Motivator skill tree, which you can choose as one of your starting archetypes, the only adjustment we'll see is, in my opinion, a buff to Tier 1. From the infrequent bonus last year of earning some bonus XP whenever we had a player drafted in the top 3 rounds, now it's lending an assist to your recruiting efforts with an interest boost for that position when a current player hits a skill cap. While that'll also be relatively infrequent, which is why it's at Tier 1, I think it will pay dividends overall. Master Motivator caught a tune-up this year as well, with a couple differences across the skill set. Last year, we got help with injury recovery at Tier 1, and that's been changed to a wear and tear specific recovery. With added dynamic substitutions and a better tuned wear and tear system this year, I think this will help us out more often. And at Tier 2, we used to get boosts to toughness, stamina, and injury, and that's been subbed out for family atmosphere, making our players of that position group less likely to transfer. We know the transfer portal got a big overhaul this year, and sometimes you might just end up on the wrong side of a star's change of heart. I like that we can choose to get some help to that end tier with the new Tier 2 option. Architect next up is an interesting case study in year-over-year comparison, as all the same stuff is here, it's just been shuffled around from 25 to 26. All right, let me see if I can get this in one shot. Tier 3 moved to Tier 1, Tier 1 moved to Tier 2, Tier 2 moved to Tier 3, and 4 stayed put with put a ring on it. That was not my first take. The Tactician branch felt well balanced last year, but kickers and punters are people too. So rather than cross-training we had in 25 instead of the kickers and punters bucket, which was the only branch separated by position where that was the case, you now have a track to help out some of your specialist attributes. While I didn't feel like the old cross-training was going to give me much value for my points, Home Field Advantage 2.0 will have our kick meters rocking this year, so a little help on that front could go a long way. The first of 2 head coach exclusive trees, it will take some serious legwork to unlock his program builder, and we saw 3 of the 7 abilities get adjusted for College Football 26. In the first box, what was an ability track related to job security in our contracts is now us getting help with the coaching carousel. Brand new this year, it's the coaching family skill, with a progression that starts with helping coordinators to stay during the carousel, then moves to making prospects more likely to accept your offer when it's time to bring on someone new, and finally, the potential to increase the caliber of coordinators available for you to hire. Sometimes it felt like you couldn't find who you needed when you needed them, so better options could go a long way to maximizing the benefits of multiple coaches with deep knowledge in their own trees. Remember that their skills add to and augment your own, so this is a good change for us. The third box, roster retention, while called the same thing, is different in its content this year. Tier 1 stays, but instead of lowering likelihood of transfers at Tier 2, now it's a more cohesive track into Tier 3, which used to only help us keep second round projections, but has been bumped up to first rounders for 26. This is another spot where the flow just makes much more sense after the rebalancing. The final change in program builder, the 5th box, faster progression last year, is now inside track. The Tier 3s for each are similar, but we know specifically how much cheaper other archetypes will be with the friends and family discount. But instead of smart goals and signing bonus, which didn't trigger frequently enough to make any sense, now we're getting a bonus to XP from completed goals, and at Tier 2, the ability to see other schools' at-risk players. This can help you prepare to dominate the new transfer portal and bring on talent to take you to the next level. Finally, the Big Daddy-O CEO branch, reserved this year for multiple national champ winners, saw over half of its skills switched up, with 5 changes I noticed year over year. First, in box 1, Delay Sundays got adjusted into a program builder track of skills, and instead we're getting Gains Getter, which can increase the chance that a player upgrades their dev trait. Now that they're dynamic, I love the sound of this one. Next, in box 3, Home Away from Home used to help lower home field advantage effects at rival stadiums, but this felt like another one that just didn't happen often enough to make any sense. Only rivalry games and only when you're playing away. Instead, now we're getting Lasting Impression, an old elite recruiter branch skill that's been promoted to the CEO branch. In my estimation, it was powerful enough to move up in rank, so it's obviously going to take a second look. In box 4, Hot Seat Chiller from 25, which helped us with a 1-year extension when facing being fired, got swapped out for More the Merrier. The new skill increases the number of players who can visit in a week to 8, and with sliding visit costs depending on how close or far away a prospect is from campus, a few extra spots could make a big difference in closing your next gem. In box 6, we had another instance of a skill moving around a bit. Last year it was Portal Preview, but that's elsewhere in the tree now. For 26, it's another potential visit buff with Last Dance, which gives us bonus interest for every visit a player has taken before you. This feels like one you can use with great synergy to create an OP visit interest boost, especially from your nearby pipeline. Finally, the very last box, Bundle Discount, my ace in the hole for coach development and progression last year, is now giving you a discount of 2 coach points less for every coach on your staff with that same ability. That's double the discount we got last year for the same, and you can get really creative around this ability and your coaching carousel to push the potential of your tree even further. I hope that gives you a great outline of all the differences you can expect on the coaching skill tree in Dynasty mode this year in College Football 26. As always, I've been Fend. Y'all have been great. Big thanks to EA for the early access opportunity, and I'll catch you in the next video.